Hello, I'm Justice Jennifer Brunner, Justice of the Ohio Supreme Court, and you're here for a video series for my campaign for Chief Justice for the Supreme Court called Achieving Justice. And I'm so happy to have with me today Judge Thomas A. Teodosio. Most people know him as Judge Tom Teodosio, but he'll be on the ballot as Thomas A. Teodosio from the Ninth District Court of Appeals. Welcome, Judge Teodosio.
Thank you for having me, Your Honor.
Can you tell people what counties are in the Ninth District Court of Appeals in Ohio?
Sure, it's a rather large district. It encompasses 4 counties: Medina County, Summit County, Lorain County, and Wayne County. It's about 1.7 million people. So I like to tell people it's larger than a lot of states.
Yes, you're right. It definitely is.
Right.
Yeah. And so you actually live in Akron?
I live in Monroe Falls, which is a small city between Stowe, Ohio, which a lot of people know, and Cuyahoga Falls. It's a suburb of Akron, though.
Great. Well, why don't you give people a little bit of your background so we kind of have an idea of just who is Judge Tom Teodosio?
I would love to. A little bit unique as a judge because I was in private practice for 25 years before I decided to run for judge. And as you know, Justice Brunner, that's like a second family. The attorneys that you work with are you get so close to them that it's like a second family. Well, Judge Bond, who was in the Summit County Common Pleas Court, decided to retire, and that was an opportunity for me to run for a Common Pleas Court. I did, and I was successful. And I've served on Summit County Common Pleas Court for 10 years. So I was elected and reelected. And then an opportunity arose when Judge Carla Moore, a wonderful, outstanding judge on the Ninth District Court of Appeals, retired. And I ran in 2016 for that seat and won, and I'm up for re-election this year. Also, I should note that during the last 6 years of my private practice, I was elected twice to Summit County Council, which I think is important in the job of a Court of Appeals because it brings that legislative background that we often deal with. At that time, Summit County was the only charter form of government in the state of Ohio, so we were able to create legislation that controlled the laws in Summit County, as long as it wasn't in conflict, of course, with state law.
So that was a countywide race then. Because a county council is a replacement for county commissioners in other counties.
Yes, although with the charter form of government, our council was made up of 12 different districts. So my district was Talmadge and Stowe, that area. It wasn't countywide at that time. Although we, of course, as a council as a whole, served the entire county.
That's interesting. And I think that probably in a larger metropolitan area like that, like Akron, probably was cost savings for the taxpayers too.
Absolutely. Yes, we were able to merge some offices to save taxpayer dollars. It's a wonderful form of government as reflected by Cuyahoga County has gone to a charter form of government and some other counties within the state.
Yeah,
we were the first, though.
Oh, I've found Akron always seems to be the innovation city. And then, speaking of, it was actually a judge in your county, Judge Stormer, who inspired me to start a drug court in Franklin County. And you actually have that experience in Summit County as well. Can you talk about that a bit?
Absolutely. I would love to, because quite frankly, it was the most rewarding part about my job as a Summit County Common Pleas Court judge. After I was elected, I was given the opportunity to preside over the Summit County Felony Drug Court. So these are people that had been arrested for felony offenses, charged. And at the time, we were locking up a lot of those people, just sending them to prison. And I was trying to explain and get people to understand that it's much more effective to get them into treatment, as you know. And one of the things I thought was necessary was to change the name from a drug court. So we renamed the program the Turning Point Program to get rid of that stigma. And to this day, successful graduates of that program call me, contact me, see me out, and thank me for bringing their lives back, quite frankly, bringing their families back together. And you know what my response is? I just provide the opportunity. They're the ones who did all the hard work. So it was just a very rewarding, still is rewarding to see individuals who have succeeded.
I totally share your views on that. And I felt like, you couldn't control where they were in their journey, but you hoped that you could reach them at a point where they really could make that turn and change the direction of their lives. I think you gave it a very apt title for that court. It's great.
And of course, when they start, they're used to, being incarcerated by judges. So you had to build that trust, which was always nice. And by the end, quite frankly, people understood that it was a smart way to deal with this type of a crime, because rather than just locking people up where they do 6 months or a year, come out and reoffend, we were able to change those and make them productive citizens. So
that's
a lot
fantastic.
of work, but very rewarding.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for asking about that, by the way.
Oh, I share your joy in that one. So it's a different environment being on a 3-judge panel in the Court of Appeals, as opposed to being a trial judge and a drug court judge. How has that been for you?
Wonderful. I've really enjoyed my experience as a appellate judge. And I think my background as a general practitioner, trial lawyer for those 25 years suit me well, because just the wide range of issues that we have, I find very interesting. I also enjoy, of course, the ability to dive into the research and deeply get involved in the issues prior to making a decision. As you know, as a trial court judge, you have to make a lot of snap decisions. The Court of Appeals, since it is such an important court, as you know, it's the Supreme Court for most people who don't get it, whose cases end there. By that, I mean, it's very rare for the Supreme Court to take cases unless there's a conflict or something of great public interest. So I like to say we are the Supreme Court for most litigants. So it's a very important court. I enjoy it immensely, and that's why one of the reasons I'm running for re-election.
Yeah, and I think it's people don't really probably have the least amount of information about courts of appeals around the state. There being 12 districts, but the question of felony sentencing is really a critical issue that's dealt with by courts of appeals, and having that trial court, felony court experience, not just in private practice, but as a judge, has that assisted you in your Court of Appeals work reviewing sentencing?
Absolutely, it has. That experience I value, and it's sort of unique in that way, because our Court of Appeals has a blending of backgrounds. Some were prosecutors, some did not do any criminal defense or trial work. So I think in that respect, I provide great value to the court from that experience.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I know from my days on the 10th District Court of Appeals, those of us who had actually done felony sentencing were often relied on by the other judges if there was a real question.
Sure.
And so you've done so much in the way of service to your community that you've received so many amazing awards. Can you talk about that aspect of your life?
Well, I've always been deeply involved in the community. I enjoy public service, and I think it's a tribute to the work that I've done to be recognized by some of these awards. Last year, I received what I consider one of the highest awards an attorney can receive, and that's the St. Thomas More Award that's awarded by the Catholic Commission. And that's for professional integrity and excellence and it's only awarded to one attorney in Summit County each year. So I was extremely honored to receive that. I've also received the Liberty Bell Award for promoting the rule of law in our society and in our county. The University of Akron's Alumni Association awarded me with an outstanding law school alumni award. That was very important to me, of course. The Catholic Commission has awarded me with the Bishop. I'm drawing a blank on that. I'm sorry, Judge. Bishop Cosgrove. That's what it is. The Bishop Cosgrove Award. That was a while back, but that was a very, very important award as well.
That's
so I've got a lot. I don't like to talk about the awards I receive because I'm sort of an humble person, but I think it does reflect on, and it's nice to get that recognition when you're involved in the community.
Sure, it is, and I think it gives the community a rallying point too, because when a person espouses the virtues that are part of that award, I think it raises and lifts people's hope a little bit too. So you are also married to a judge. What is that like?
Well, we don't watch the law shows and we don't talk about our cases, obviously. I should mention that since my wife, Linda, is the Summit County Juvenile Court, obviously I can't decide cases that come out of Summit County Juvenile's court. But she's just an amazing, amazing judge, an amazing lawyer. As you know, she's the former president of the State Bar Association, and she is just as active in the community as I am. We've been married a little over 30 years now. And I like to say, while we've been married 30 plus years, we've only been together about 10 or 12 because our schedules are such that we're always out and about in the community in different locations. But I'm very proud of her. She's a very creative judge and done wonderful things in Summit County. Actually, when she finishes her term, she will be the longest serving juvenile court judge in Summit County's history, which was something I wasn't aware of until recently. That's
really amazing public service. And I don't know if you found this, but my work on the Court of Appeals in Columbus on the 10th District, it didn't seem like we had nearly as many juvenile appeals as we did the civil and the criminal. Those were just not as, they were a lot less frequent.
Well, interestingly enough, with COVID and people living together, the 9th District's cases have actually risen in the areas of domestic relations and juvenile court. I think that's just the nature of people being locked up together and in close proximity.
That's interesting. Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing those once you're done with them. So, yeah. I'm looking at that little white table behind you.
Oh, so, there you go.
Either you like to eat sushi on your knees, or what's that for?
Well, Linda and I are blessed with 3 wonderful granddaughters, and that's the table where they draw, and they both love art, quite frankly. And so we have a table there with a lot of crayons and things for them to do, as we do throughout the house. I mean, as I know you have grandchildren as well, and they are the center of our universe right now. So our house is very kid friendly right now. Our granddaughters will soon be 6 in a few days, the oldest. And then we have a 3-year-old and about a 9-month-old. So they're my son Christopher's and my daughter-in-law's Catherine's children. And he, of course, is busy with, he's a partner at Rouse McDowell here in Akron. So, and they live so close. I could walk my grandchildren home. It's such a wonderful, wonderful time to spend with them.
Many people would love to have that kind of proximity.
So I certainly understand that and would love to spend every minute when I'm not campaigning with them.
No, grandchildren change everything.
Absolutely.
Is there anything in particular that you would want people to know about you that I haven't covered today?
Well, I think it's important to know the experience that a judge brings to the court. And I have a long record of being fair and impartial and abiding by the oath of office that we take. I can promise people a couple things. Number one is that I will always make a decision based on the law, applying the Constitution of the state, the United States Constitution, and the laws that were enacted by the legislature. And I'm not going to be influenced by political partisanship or personal views. It's very important that we be, especially the appellate courts, be fiercely independent. And that's what my record shows. I'm proud of that. And I think every judge should hold those values and abide by those values. So I'm looking forward to continuing to serve the people of Lorain County, Summit County, Wayne County, and Medina County.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for your exceptional service and for your whole family being involved in that kind of service to your community. I'm so happy that you were able to join me today. For those of you who've been watching, this is Achieving Justice, and this is Justice Jennifer Brunner of the Ohio Supreme Court. And today I'm interviewing Judge Thomas A. Teodosio, who is running for re-election on the 9th District Court of Appeals. Thank you, Judge Teodosio, and thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Justice Brunner.
Thank you.